trying to coddle him for? Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
What you want to do? What you want to do? You from here?
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from here.
All right, so...
Oh, hell yeah, let's go.
What's up with you?
I've already made my peace with it, because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out.
The world isn't just watching right now. Everyone is holding their breath. King Harris, the son of the famous rapper T.I., is fighting for his life in a hospital ICU. He was a victim of a terrible and planned attack inside a prison that was meant to be very serious. This was not a normal fight. The scene inside the hospital is tense and sad. Machines are beeping and hissing, and King is connected to tubes and wires that are helping him breathe. His family is gathered outside his room, worried and torn apart by what happened. He is no longer just another person in prison. He is now the center of a huge story that has everyone talking. Fans have come together outside the Atlanta hospital. They are holding candles, praying, and chanting King's name through the night. On social media, things exploded with posts. Hashtags like #PrayForKing and #JusticeForKing started trending all over the world within hours. But behind the online support, there is a much more frightening truth. This attack was not random. According to people with knowledge of the situation, it was a setup, a plan hit meant to seriously harm him or worse. The strangest part is that the prison cameras, which are always recording, mysteriously stopped working right when the attack happened. There is no video footage of the incident, which leaves no evidence and a lot of questions. That missing footage makes it seem like there is a conspiracy. A recording from a nurse that was leaked online made things even more intense. In it, she can be heard whispering, "This wasn't random. This was a setup. Someone wanted him gone." This has made people even more convinced that something very wrong is going on.
Son, think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas? His ass going to prison. If you goddamn keep that shit up, his ass going to prison.
The nurse's words, "This was a setup," spread like wildfire, making everyone believe King was specifically targeted. But the big question is, why? Who would want to hurt King Harris so badly? People have a lot of theories. Some think King might have seen or heard something he shouldn't have inside the prison, like secrets about corrupt guards or illegal activities. Others believe the attack wasn't really about King at all, but was meant as a message for his famous father, T.I. This theory suggests it was a warning that even money and fame can't protect you from powerful enemies. Then there is the scariest idea, that someone from the outside ordered the attack, planning it carefully to hurt King when he was most vulnerable in his prison cell. The Harris family, who always seemed strong, now feels like they are under attack. A video of King's mother, Tiny, broke down in the hospital hallway has been seen everywhere. She was crying and screaming, "Why my baby? Why him?" This raw moment turned their private tragedy into a public heartbreak. At the same time, T.I. has been seen completely shattered. He isn't acting like a famous rapper and businessman, but just like a scared father. Cameras caught him outside the intensive care unit, crying and saying, "I don't care about justice. I just want my boy to live." This made millions of people feel his pain. But while the family grieves, new information is coming out. People who work at the prison are saying that the staff were told to ignore what was happening. The cameras didn't just break, they were purposely turned off. If this is true, it means the very people who are supposed to keep inmates safe may have helped the attackers. Inside the ICU, the situation is desperate. Doctors are working hard, whispering to the family that the next 24 hours are critical. They are worried King might not survive. Every beep from the heart monitor is a tense reminder that his life is on the line. As the night turned into morning, the crowd outside the Atlanta hospital grew from dozens to hundreds of people. They held candlelight vigils, prayed together, and protested, demanding answers from the prison. One fan was filmed yelling, "You protect criminals, but you couldn't protect a young man in your care." This summed up the anger everyone was feeling. Inside the hospital, the family's nightmare continued. Reports leaked out that doctors told Tiny and T.I. that King's brain activity was getting weaker. He might not die, but he could face permanent damage like not being able to speak, walk, or remember things. When she heard this news, Tiny broke down again, crying, "They wanted to kill my baby. They wanted to destroy us." The sound of her pain, recorded on a phone, was shared everywhere, adding to the heavy feeling of a family and a city in crisis. The situation became even more heartbreaking when T.I. had to be let out of the ICU room. He had broken down, shouting, "If my son doesn't make it, the world is going to burn." His words were filmed and posted online instantly. People felt deep sympathy for him, but his outburst also started more rumors. Was he just a grieving father expressing his pain, or did he already know who was responsible for the attack? The rumors grew even wilder when a mysterious audio recording, supposedly from an inmate, was leaked on the internet. In the clip, a shaky voice said, "We were told to make it look like a regular fight, but the target was King. They wanted him gone no matter what." No one can confirm if the recording is real, but it spread quickly and made people around the world furious. If it is true, it proves everyone's worst fear. This was not a random fight, but a planned attack made to look like one. Some people think rival gangs inside the prison are responsible. Others whisper that enemies from T.I.'s past career arranged the whole thing from the outside. Whatever the truth, it means King Harris was not just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was the specific person the attackers wanted to hurt. Just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, another shocking report came out. Unconfirmed news claimed that King's heart stopped beating during the night. Doctors had to work frantically to bring him back to life. Cameras outside the hospital captured the terrible aftermath of this emergency. Tiny was heard screaming uncontrollably from down the hall. T.I. fell to his knees, begging God, "Lord, take everything I own. Just don't take my boy." The video of this raw moment shattered the internet, turning the family's private pain into a very public tragedy for the entire music world to see. Overnight, the hashtag King became the #1 trend worldwide. But mixed in with all the prayers were dark conspiracy theories. Some fans cruelly said this was karma, while others called it an act of revenge. A few even said the Harris family must be cursed. A mysterious Instagram post added fuel to the fire, writing, "The sins of the father fall on the son." This was never about King. It was about T.I. The account was quickly deleted, but people had already taken screenshots, and the message spread everywhere. Was this a clue from someone involved, or just an internet troll trying to cause more trouble? Either way, it made the speculation even more intense and dangerous. Famous celebrities began to get involved, which turned the tragedy into a media circus. Rappers and music producers posted messages online. Some blamed the prison system, while others seemed to point fingers at T.I.'s old rivals. One well-known producer wrote a cryptic message, "When you play with fire, sometimes the flames reach your family." This line made fans dig up old music industry feuds, wondering if King's attack was connected to problems from years ago. Suddenly, King's fight for his life was being linked to decades of grudges and rivalries that the hip-hop world has never really left behind. Through all this, the Harris family is struggling on all fronts. To make matters worse, hospital security had to be increased because of new threats that appeared online. The crowd of protesters outside the hospital grew louder and angrier. They carried signs that read, "Justice for King," and the system failed him. The emotion became so intense that T.I. himself stormed out of the hospital doors at one point. His face was puffy from crying, and his voice was hoarse with anger as he yelled at the news cameras, "If you don't protect my family, I'll tear this whole system down myself." He didn't sound like the famous rapper everyone knows. He sounded like a father who had nothing left to lose. The video of his outburst spread everywhere online, and people were divided. Some saw a grieving parent, while others saw a man threatening to start a war with powerful people. Then, the family received the most devastating news possible. The doctor sat down with Tiny and T.I. and told them that if King's condition did not improve soon, they might have to talk about turning off the machines that were keeping him alive. This horrible conversation was too much for Tiny to bear, and she fainted in the hallway. T.I. reacted with fury, shouting at the doctors, "You don't get to decide when my son's story ends." The family's pain was felt by everyone. Outside, supporters prayed and chanted even louder, and their candles burned like tiny beacons of hope in the dark. On social media, people expressed their unity and their rage. A very sad photo was leaked, showing T.I. holding his unconscious son's hand, whispering, "Daddy's right here, I'm not leaving." Many are calling it the most heartbreaking picture in hip-hop history. But through all the emotion, the big questions remain. Who wanted to hurt King Harris? Why did the prison staff supposedly turn off the cameras and not help him? Was this a message meant for his father, T.I., from old enemies? Or did King accidentally get caught up in something much bigger than anyone realized? As the doctors fight to save King's life, people are understanding that this is more than just a news story. It is a major event that is shaking the world of music, the city of Atlanta, and every person who has ever admired the Harris family. With King's life still in danger, one thing is certain: this nightmare is far from over. The sun came up over Atlanta, but for the Harris family, it felt like the darkest day of their lives. Inside the ICU, the constant beeping of the heart monitor was a tense reminder that King was still fighting for every breath. Nurses moved quietly in and out of the room, their faces serious. Doctors spoke in low, worried voices that the family struggled to hear. The area around the hospital was filled with intense emotion. Fans were crying, praying, and shouting all at once. They held up pictures of King, and the flickering light from their candles illuminated their sad and angry faces as they called out for a miracle. The entire city of Atlanta was overcome with pain and anger, standing still for a young man who never should have been in this situation. The tragedy became even worse when news leaked out from inside the hospital. Reports revealed that King had suffered a very serious injury to his head. The weapon might have been a heavy padlock hidden inside a sock, which is a common and dangerous weapon in prisons. Even more disturbing, people who were there claim the prison guards did nothing to stop the attack until it was too late. This has led many to believe that what happened wasn't just an accident or neglect, but that it was done on purpose. The situation feels more and more like a terrible injustice. An unnamed person close to the situation was heard saying, "It's like they wanted him to suffer." That sentence has been shared everywhere, making people even angrier at the prison system. Outside the hospital, the protesters have become louder. Their signs now say things like, "The system failed, King, and protect our kids." They are accusing the prison officials of hiding the truth about what really happened. This has turned from a fight for one boy's life into a much larger fight for justice, with thousands of people demanding answers that the authorities have not provided. The family is facing an unbearable new level of pain. Doctors have privately warned them that even if King survives, his life may never be the same. He could have permanent brain damage or be paralyzed. He might not be able to walk or talk like he used to. Hearing this news was devastating. Tiny broke down, her cries echoing through the hospital hallways as she collapsed into her daughter's arms for support. At the same time, T.I. looks like a man pushed to his absolute limit. He was filmed storming past reporters, his voice shaking but his eyes full of fire. He shouted, "If you don't protect my family, I'll tear this whole system down myself." The video spread across the internet in minutes. Some people watching saw a father who was completely broken. Others saw a man ready to declare war on the powerful people who hurt his son. No matter how you see it, his personal pain has become a symbol for a much bigger fight. Online, social media is flooded with theories. Some fans think the attack was revenge for problems T.I. had with other people in the music industry years ago. Others whisper that powerful figures wanted to see him brought down. A mysterious post from a rapper added to the speculation. "Y'all don't even know half the truth. This wasn't random. This was planned." This one comment sparked endless debates. Was this about music industry drama? Was it street revenge? Or was it a sign of deep corruption within the prison itself? No one knows for sure, but everyone agrees this situation is much darker and more complicated than a simple fight. As night fell over Atlanta, the city became a place of prayer. The candlelight vigils grew larger, and the crowds outside the hospital swelled. The demand for justice grew stronger with every passing hour. Inside the hospital, things became more tense. Security was increased around the Harris family after they received scary threats. Tiny stayed by her son's side, holding his hand and whispering prayers. T.I. refused to leave the room, determined to stay with his boy. A photo was leaked showing him bent over King's hospital bed, whispering, "I'm not leaving until you wake up. Daddy's right here." This image touched hearts all over the world. It showed T.I. not as a famous celebrity, but simply as a father desperately begging for his son to live. But one huge, dark question hangs over everything. Will King Harris survive? The doctors have said the next 24 hours are the most critical. If the worst happens, it wouldn't just be the loss of a son. It would feel like the end of an era for his family and for the world of hip-hop music. People are already talking about curses and revenge, and the fact that the officials in charge aren't saying anything only makes people more suspicious. Was this really just a random act of violence in prison, or was it a carefully planned attack designed to hurt T.I. by targeting the person he loves the most? The world may never learn the full truth. But one thing is clear, this story has shaken everyone to their core. Right now, the Harris family waits. The city of Atlanta waits. And the whole world waits, hoping the next news update brings a miracle of light instead of more darkness.